feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I hope you are getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow for you all. I hope that's going to be a fun day off for most of you. Don't attempt to go to Costco, or did any of you try to go to Costco? I think that would be a bad idea. Whoever's going to try to do that, I think you might might run into some trouble. Don't be like battling old ladies for cranberry sauce, or trying to get the last, seasoning or something, and you have to fight to the death for it. It's it's been a busy day. I literally stepped through the door less than 15 minutes ago, and wasn't expecting Trish to finish that early because she's been going sort of to the 2 hour mark for most nights. And I was like, well, I have about half an hour. I'll try and get something to eat before we do the live show. As soon as my food was ready, she went off the air, and I was like, really? Come on. So I had to shovel down some food and then get on here to hang out with you guys. It has been a really busy day. We were back again today for the Jody trial. I'm still following it, and I'm watching and observing the trial every day, taking notes, things like that. I I think the easiest way, after sort of thinking about it, is I don't think I'm going to cover it live. So, like what we did with Aaron, and give you a daily update of what's going on in the courtroom. I think to avoid some of the legal issues with like sub judice and a few other things, suppression orders and things like that, I think it would be easier to just keep observing the trial. And then when we get to the end of it, I can tell you the story of what happened to this man and, well, what happened to this woman, whether she ends up being found guilty or not guilty, or whatever ends up happening. And maybe that'll be the best way to do it for this one. I just don't see the interest there. I don't see the sort of like big sort of push from people to really get involved and want that sort of like minute by minute coverage of this particular trial. But it is a story I think is worth telling. I think it's a story worth telling, and what I've witnessed in court, I think this man, this victim, Mr. Hunter, I think he deserves to have his story told, but I think maybe just in a different format. I just don't think the sort of live everyday court review sort of works for this one. I think it would end up being a lot of time and energy for not very good viewers and like view hours and things like that. And it sucks it has to be that way, but if I'm going to put 120 hours a week into it or whatever, it has to be worth it. And I think I don't think it's the right case. But again, I do think we should tell the story. I just think in a different format. So I think we'll wait till the end when we get a verdict, and then I'll do a video and I'll run you through everything. I'll take you from day one to day whatever, and I'll tell you what happened to Mr. Hunter. And I can tell you, it's a very interesting trial. The difference between Aaron Patterson and this one, Aaron Patterson was a almost circumstantial trial. This one has a complete murder scene. So you got a room, there's blood evidence, there's fingerprint, there's DNA, there's blood splatter. It's a completely different type of trial compared to Aaron. Even very different compared to Lachlan Young. Lachlan Young was another sort of circumstantial trial because there was no murder scene as such. This one is like your classic true crime trial. It's like you got blood evidence, you got a murder weapon, you've got a victim, you got a crime scene. So it's been interesting to hear from the experts in this particular one, especially the people who did the fingerprint analysis and the people who did. There was a professor who did blood spatter, so he told us how to look at it, and not us, I mean the jury. He did a really good job of explaining how to look at blood and blood in a crime scene. And I'm hoping at the end of the trial, I might be able to get my hands on that document that he showed to the court, because it would be really good to show you guys. It runs through everything you need to look for in a crime scene for blood spatter or blood pattern analysis. Pretty cool. So, yeah, I think I mean, I don't mind doing it every day, but I think it's gonna bore people. I really do. When I brought up the trial the other night, the response to it in the comments was very lukewarm. Like, people weren't like, "Yeah, that sounds really interesting." They were just sort of like, sure, it's okay." They were like, It's it's fine. It's not the greatest thing in the world." So, yeah. Yeah, but it's a two-way street, Gala. The viewership has to be there to justify the time and the effort and the stuff like that. So I just don't think this one does to do like a daily court review. Um, Sort of like what we did with Aaron, and I ran you through the notes every day. I just don't think it's there. It's interesting. Even the media in Australia, in Victoria, it's not being covered daily. I can show you. There's no update since Rebecca. I mean Rebecca, Jody. Sorry, her middle name is Rebecca. It's Jody Rebecca Hill. Like when I search on online right now, the last update for this particular trial was the day it happened. The day it went to trial, like the day the trial opened for opening statements. That's the last time anyone did an update online. So no one else has been following it. None of the ABC, none of the Guardian or anything. Like no one's been doing any updates. So interesting, because I hear there's a lot of media that are actually um, watching and reporting for the trial, but there's no like coverage. It's weird. Yeah. All right, I just wanted to tell you about that because I had to think about it last night, and I thought maybe it just doesn't fit that format, and it would be better to just to tell you the story of this man and what happened to him. And I think that might be a better way of doing it. That way we can sort of honor his legacy and give him the respect that he deserves, that type of thing. So we will do it like that, I think. Yeah, I'm just looking here. When was the last time? 8 days ago was the last update from the ABC. 8 days ago, and we've had quite a few days of trial since then. Last Wednesday was the last time anyone gave an update for this one. Yeah, there you go. All right. I want to go first. We'll talk about the other Rebecca. Is it Rebecca? Am I going crazy? Yeah, Rebecca. Sorry, we got two Rebeccas. Rebecca Park, the one who went missing in Michigan. There's been a good update. I know Trish talked about it a little bit, but I want to talk about it. I want to more talk about it. I want to give you my insight into it. There was a press conference today. I know last night we were waiting for it after they found her body yesterday. They're saying here Rebecca Park's family confirms that it was her body that was discovered in the national forest by searchers not far from where she was last seen 21 days earlier near Cadillac. I think it's very strange that this area is one of the ones that has been searched before. And I learned today that some of her family members have been charged and indicted on crimes not related to her death, but adjacent investigations. So I don't like where this is going. And if this ends up being what I think it's going to end up being, it is horrible. I think this is going to be one of those cases that we all look back on and go, "Oh, really?" So let me bring you this update here, and then we'll continue.
Also making headlines tonight, the bizarre disappearance of
Good work, Ping. Good work. You got to share the page, Ping. There we go.
Also making headlines tonight, the bizarre disappearance of a pregnant Michigan woman taking another gruesome turn. Her body turns up in northern Michigan, but the status of her baby is unknown. Fox 2's Jessica Dupek is tracking this case that's getting coverage really across the country tonight. And Jess, for good reasons, where is this baby? Everyone's wondering.
Yeah, Rube, it's just an incredibly sad story at every turn. And who we're talking about is 22-year-old Rebecca Park. Her family says that she went missing about 3 weeks ago, and her body was found in a forest in northern Michigan in the Cadillac area last night. But the really tragic, even more tragic part of all of this is the location and condition of her baby is unknown at this time, and police are being incredibly quiet.
The young lady that was found resembles Rebecca Parks, a young lady that went missing on November 4th. And we are currently actively investigating that. That's a tragic time in our county, and hopefully this brings some closure to this awful incident.
So as we said, Rebecca's family confirms her body was found in the Manistee National Forest by searchers last night, not far from where she was last seen by her mother 21 days ago, 21 days earlier near Cadillac. That's up north, of course. Oddly, it's an area that had been searched before, but she was not there. Now in court a day later, her baby's father, Richard Fahler, and Rebecca's younger sister, Kimberly Park, they're facing charges unrelated to all of this. He's facing drug charges, and she's facing charges for tampering with evidence and lying to police. None of them charged with homicide. No one at this point, and that is likely to do with the fact that an autopsy hasn't been done. So we will continue to monitor that charging situation.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to cough into the microphone. That was a great way to start the show. Rebecca Park, and they're saying the family members have been arraigned $1 million bond and a $750,000 bond for each of them. And it's the fiance and sister of Rebecca Park. It is Kimberly Park and Richard Lee Fowler. And they were arraigned Wednesday on several charges. Kimberly was arraigned on tampering with evidence. She has a second count of lying to a police officer and a third count of filing a false report of a felony. His charges are different. Hold on. He is facing a potential life sentence after being charged with 2 counts of delivering methamphetamine. Each count carries a penalty of up to 20 years in prison and a $25,000 fine. He is considered a habitual offender with 3 previous attempted or completed felonies. His charges could be life in prison. He's got a $1 million bail. The sister, she has the $750,000 bond or bail amount. And there's a photo of these two dimwits here. I'll play it for you. This is Up North ABC.
New developments tonight after the body of Rebecca Park was discovered in the Manistee National Forest.
Rebecca's fiance and sister are now behind bars as the death investigation widens. 21-year-old Kimberly Park now being held on a $750,000 bond, with the judge today calling her a flight risk.
Richard Fowler, Rebecca's fiance, is being held on a $1 million bond and being called a threat to the community. The charges come just a day after a body resembling Park was discovered by searchers in the Manistee National Forest, with police as as we showed you last night at 5 o'clock, descending on that Boone Township property, making a series then of arrests.
Investigators telling us they can't confirm if it is in fact Park until an autopsy is performed, nor can they comment on the status of Rebecca's baby.
Yeah, we want to get right to Up North Live's Tony Lundy following this story for weeks and live tonight from the Wexford District Court with the latest on this case and reaction from Rebecca's adoptive mother.
Well, Mark, Stephanie Park was inside the courthouse that's right behind me today to see both Rebecca's own sister and her fiance face a judge and charges related to her disappearance, but neither of them faces a charge directly related to her death yet. We are told the investigation continues, so additionally charges could come. But for now, Kimberly Park is charged with tampering with evidence, lying to police, and filing a false report. Rebecca's fiance, Richard Lee Fowler, faces 2 meth delivery charges and a habitual offender enhancement that could bring a life sentence. The pair's arrest came after the discovery of Rebecca's body last night, bringing an end to what has been proven to be and continues a difficult time for those who knew and loved Rebecca.
Yeah, I would appreciate all the public to just, if you see me or the kids, just nod, but do not approach us. Yeah. I am not capable of doing that. I cannot hold it together for the kids if.
You can understand why she is saying that. Yeah, I think we all have to ask questions. I don't think they would bring these two in, the fiance and the sister, into custody for no reason. They're not like, oh, there is a missing person. What we're going to do is we're going to arrest the family. Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're more worried about finding the girl, right? So the fact that they charge these two people sounds to me like holding charges, waiting for that autopsy to be completed. It's Rebecca. So the last name is Park. They're not married. So there would be no last name like co-mingling between the two because they're not married. She hasn't taken his name or something like that. So it is her relative. Why these two in particular, I'm not sure. Now, as you heard in that first report, there's a lot of rumors going around about what they found at that park. And I have seen everything. I've seen everything. I've seen that there's no baby, that she was cut open. I've seen multiple different theories on what people think happened to Rebecca. I'm trying to find a post I saw earlier. I was going to show it to you guys. There was a post here that they tried to steal the baby or something. I was going to try read it to you. I can't find it, but someone online was insinuating that they had like killed her to take the child. And I mean, we've seen cases like that before, but I haven't seen anyone confirm that information that she either gave birth and then was killed or they killed her to take the baby. I haven't seen anyone like give anything official to say that. And maybe that's why they're waiting for the autopsy. I don't know. But you never know with these types of things. We've had several cases where not family members, but even strangers. There was a woman a few years ago. She had put baby clothes up online to give to another mum. She was trying to be nice, give it to another mum. And this woman replied, went to her home and tried. Did she end up killing her? I can't remember. But tried to kill her and take the baby. Hold on, guys. Hold on. All right, sorry. Rory was being very naughty and trying to climb the cupboard, so I had to be like, "Hey, can you go get her?" She did die. Yeah, I remember that one. It was really awful. This woman in her home was about to give birth. and ended up being killed and the baby taken from her because this psycho answered an ad online and was lying about her own life. I don't know if that's what's happening here, but we've seen people hurt pregnant women before. And the fact that she was so close to giving birth. The other theory I saw online was maybe she died somehow in birth and that she died at the home. They misreported it and that they ended up dumping her body to hide the fact that they didn't report her death during childbirth. But look, there's no confirming any of this yet, so it's all speculation around the area. There is so many people here. Here, so someone from the area says this whole missing persons case has been a shit show. Social media, particularly Facebook, has been on fire with speculation and accusations since the day after she went missing. People have been flooding the family with calls and calling the sheriff and the city police officers demanding information, trying to file reports with the cops, false reports, and the cops have been asking people to settle down and stop interfering with the investigation. And they're saying there's a lot of idiots fabricating theories, and there's a lot of hysteria in the local area. And from my looking and researching too, like I just told you, those various theories here. Yeah, there's a lot of people trying to say this type of stuff online. So we'll see when they do this autopsy on her body. We will know a lot more. I don't know if it's been scheduled. I'm just trying to find here. Autopsy. Okay, so as of 7 hours ago, an autopsy has not been completed and it has not been scheduled. So that means that they they either don't have the body at the particular morgue where they want it to be for an autopsy, or there's too many things in front of it that they're waiting on. I don't know, but they haven't even scheduled it. So that means they don't even have a time where the ME is going to sit down and do it. Normally, you hear about it about 24 hours after the body is found. They'll say Friday at 10 a.m. That is when we're going to do the autopsy. But so far, no time given of when they might do that. And there was a press conference today. I'm just trying to see if I can find it. They're saying during the press conference today, the state police and the local sheriff declined to comment on anything not already publicly known, including possible foul play, arrest, and the status of Rebecca's child. They say they cannot confirm that it is Rebecca until after the autopsy is conducted, which has not been scheduled, but a medical examiner is on scene in the area. Yeah, with the holiday happening tomorrow, that might. What did I tell you a few days ago? I told you a few days ago that everything would grind to a halt as we got into Thanksgiving and the Thursday, Friday, then the weekend. Everything would sort of go and sort of seize up. And every year I've done true crime around this time of year, everything just grinds to a halt. So I would figure that it might be next week. It could possibly be, or it could be the weekend, possibly Friday, but it doesn't sound like they're in too big of a rush to get it done. It sounds like they'll get it done when they get it done. It's not going to, they're not going to be pressured into getting it done in 48 hours or something like that. Let me see if I can find the press conference for you so we can watch it together. Hold on. Press conference. That's not the right one.
It was discovered in the Massey National Forest not far from here.
All right, let me check one thing, my friends. I just want to see if they got one from this morning rather than this one, because there was supposed to be two. Okay, it must not be. All right. All right, this one and then this one. Okay.
Are we ready to go? Earlier today at approximately 2:16 p.m., a body was discovered in the Massey National Forest not far from here. Currently, the Wexford County Sheriff's Office, the Michigan State Police, and the Michigan State Police Crime Lab are investigating that scene. The young lady that was found resembles Rebecca Parks, a young lady that went missing on November 4th, and we are currently actively investigating that. So if you have anything you want to say, or if there's any questions.
You said appears to look like her?
Yes, appears to resemble. It resembles Rebecca Parks.
But you're not saying for sure that it is Rebecca Parks.
We cannot confirm until the autopsy is performed.
What about the clothing she was wearing? Was that similar to the clothing she was described leaving? I know there was two descriptions, but
We can't answer that.
Yeah, no comment on that.
But there, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the area that she was found in, this body was found in, was it one of the areas that had already been searched by police or from that group?
It was not searched by that group. It was no formal search party in that area. Citizens were searching it today, and they found the body.
As you can hear from them, they are very non-committal. They are non-committal on anything that could be considered new information. They're just like, oh, was she wearing the same clothes? They're like, clothes? I don't know about clothes. What are clothes? Yeah, can't comment on that right now. They're just really not giving out any new information at all. Gail said, how bad a condition was the body in? The fact that the medical examiner is still on the scene tonight, or at least that's what the update I have from less than 5 hours ago, that the ME is still out there, tells me that it might be pretty bad. Like the crime scene might be pretty bad, because normally if it's just a body, say someone passes away and you find them pretty quickly, like within a few days, they'll just put the body on a stretcher and they'll let crime scene investigative or crime lab take over and do the photographing and things like that. The fact that the ME is still out there and still working on the site tells me that it could be a very difficult crime scene. The fact that they may be looking for things, and I don't know what they could be looking for, but it could mean that there's a lot of decomp. It could mean that there's body parts. It could be they're looking for certain things. I don't know what it is, but normally they're not on the scene for that long. Normally the ME gets called in, they pick up the body and go. It's not really like a multi-day, multi-hour type of thing. So I don't know, but I do find that weird.
well, that area had been searched just by people in general, don't you think?
Yes, I think so.
And there's been a lot of hunters out in the areas.
That's correct.
Do you believe that this body may have been placed there recently?
I don't have any comment on that at this time.
He looked very nervous at that question. Did you see that at the end there? When they asked him, like, oh, so do you think the body, because there's been a lot of people around here, hunters and searchers and people looking for Rebecca, do you think maybe the body has been moved? and his eyes were all over the place. He's like, "Oh, I can't really comment on that." He looked very nervous at that question. Not saying that that means anything, but he did look very nervous when they asked that particular question. It is a very 1 + 1 = 2 type of question, right? Because if there have been people out there, people say they've searched that area before, and now suddenly there's a body there. Maybe someone. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, it's happened before where killers have killed people, hidden the body in another location, waited for the search parties to to happen, and then they go back to a place that has been searched, dump the body, and leave it there, thinking that they won't research the same area. So it wouldn't, it has happened. But he also said when it said it had been searched, he said it hadn't. Wait, hold on.
There's been a lot of hunters out in the areas.
That's correct.
Do you believe that this body may have been placed there recently?
I don't have any comment on that at this time.
This is a very active.
Hunters out in the area.
It today, and they found the body.
Well, that area had been searched just by people in general, don't you think?
Yes, I think so.
And there's been a lot of hunters out in the area.
It was found in, was it one of the areas that had already been searched by police or from that group?
It was not searched by that group. It was no formal search party in that area. Citizens were searching it today, and they found it.
Yeah, he said no formal search, but he said people had been searching. So a bit of a double answer. Jay said, like the Phoebe Bishop case, her body was moved. Yeah, very much like the Phoebe Bishop case. Lying, I don't know if he's lying. I don't think cops lie. I think they just withhold information from media, the public, until a later time. So he's doing his best to put up a wall and not give away too much.
And we will, sheriff will give updates as soon as it becomes available. But right now it's very active. So we have a lot of detectives and department members working on this.
Can I ask about the baby?
No comment on that right now until the autopsy is complete.
Um,
Do you know when the autopsy is supposed to be done? Is it scheduled?
It is not scheduled yet.
Yeah, medical examiner is currently on the scene, so we'll know more later on that as well.
Any arrests yet?
Again, it's early in the investigation.
Any other things that you can tell us?
Unfortunately, there's nothing more. We don't believe that the citizens at large are in danger by any stretch of the imagination. It's a tragic time in our county, and hopefully this brings some closure to this awful incident.
Yeah. So, when they say there's no threat to the other people, that tells me that they think they know who did it, and that those people, it was something targeted towards her. So that's what I would take from that. Yeah, very interesting case. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few days, especially with, like I said, Thanksgiving going on. I'll take you to one last update from, for some reason, CBS in Austin, but it's a very quick one.
We came out.
Oh no, we watched this one. Sorry, I thought that was a new one about her body being found, but it's not. We watched that one already. That's it. That's all my update I'm going to give you. I'm not going to get into a rumor mill sort of thing going on for this, but I can tell you if you venture anywhere outside of like here, web sleuths, anything like that, anywhere where they don't have rules for posting information, you may find some interesting information that may or may not be actual truth. There is a lot of rumors going on. Gayla said, "Looked happy." The woman answered, "Yeah, well, that is the he is the sheriff, and the other one is the state police. So state police are probably further up the chain. So they're probably a higher, hierarchy for authorities. All right, let me check one other place if we've got anything new in the last couple of hours. No. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say there's been really that is the update. I'm gonna say that's probably all the information so far. Let me check one other place. Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on from that. All right, I want to talk about what happened in the LA Times today. Did you all see this new information from the LA Times? Let me put it up on the screen for you. They're talking about an LA grand jury. They're saying, here's mystery of dead teens stuffed in trunk of David's Tesla, according to a source. And that is very interesting that all this information has started to come out in the last week or two. And they're saying now a grand jury took place. So are we about to see charges, or did the grand jury decline to give charges? This will be very interesting. They're saying an LA County grand jury is hearing evidence related to the death of a teenage girl whose body was discovered stuffed inside the trunk of singer David's Tesla earlier this year. And they're saying comes from two different law enforcement sources who talked to the LA Times. So they're saying the LA County District Attorney's Office has begun presenting evidence to what's known as an investigative grand jury, according to one of the sources who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the case with the media. One of the sources said the grand jury was in session for several days in mid-November, but it was unclear whether prosecutors had completed presenting their evidence. There you go. Prosecutors may convene an investigative grand jury to subpoena witnesses and compel other evidence, including videos. Such investigative panels may recommend charges, but cannot themselves return an indictment. So it's more about trying to dig up more evidence rather than get charges or an indictment. It's seems to be if someone is withholding, it's a way to make them give evidence or compel them to come forward with what they know in a legal way. In Australia, this is done differently. In Australia, there is a way through the court which a person can be compelled that they have to come in and be questioned, that they have to give evidence. That I've seen that done in a few different trials down here, and you guys will hear more about that in the coming months, in the coming 5 in the coming 3 to 6 months, you'll hear a lot more about that. We'll definitely be talking about compelling witnesses to talk in a few months' time. And they're saying here, what does it say? They say there is a GJ number, which is a reference for a grand jury. And they're saying in a document that was provided, LAPD Detective Joshua Byers of the Robbery Homicide Division successfully persuaded a judge to bar the LA County Medical Examiner from divulging autopsy results and other details related to the girl's death that would otherwise be public. It was Byers who characterized the probe into the girl's death as an investigation into murder. There you go. So even the cops are now presenting it as murder. So I think this is a very interesting step forward. The fact that we're now hearing words like murder, grand juries, compelling people to come forward. Who could they compel to come forward in this particular case? I have one person that I think would like, or we would like, and the police would like to come forward. And that person apparently owned a Tesla. I think that would be someone they would be very interested in having them compelled to give evidence or turn over video. So that would be interesting. Probably some other people might be people in his orbit, maybe bodyguards, managers, people that might have known her and him, maybe people who might be trying to protect him. They would be very good people to compel to come forward. David's brother too. Like I said, his bodyguard as well, managers, record people, other people who hung out at that house. Like we heard, there were parties that often happened there. There were girls coming in and out. There were guys there. There were some noise complaints, things like that. So there might have been a bunch of people who don't really want their names in the headlines surrounding a murder investigation, but it sounds like a grand jury might be able to compel them to come forward. Her family, that would be a good one, because there is a lot of things there about what they do and don't know. That would be good information to have for a trial. I think there's some dodgy stuff to do with her family. 100%. Her family, in my opinion, not a fact, but in Ping's opinion, they are one of the reasons she is dead today. That is my opinion. It's not a fact, but it is just what I think. I think they are one of the reasons she was in a Tesla, possibly dismembered. And it's if you look back on the history between the family and their daughter, I think it tells you a lot, because most families wouldn't let their daughter just take off to some 20-year-old guy, music guy house and hang out there for 9 months or a year and come and go from there back to home and things like that. It's irresponsible. Gail said, in my opinion, they knew where she was and with whom she was. Yes. And I heard this early on. I think I told you this back when it first happened, that someone came forward and talked to me and said that the family were hoping that she would marry David eventually and that they would be wealthy, that he would go on to become a big musical superstar, and that she would reap the profits, and by extension the family would also become wealthy because it's their daughter, so they would be looked after as well. This was something I was told months ago. So, and I believe that to be true. Danny said, how much money was the family paid? That's a good question. Maybe a subpoena in a grand jury would be a great way to find that out. Gail said, I've seen a video of her back home while being missing. I think Steve also found a photo of her being at a graduation for a family member while she was supposedly missing. And she was at a family member's graduation, acting as if she was still part of the family and hanging out. And so, how can you be missing when you're at a close family member's graduation from school? So, that doesn't make a lot of sense either. So, I think there's a lot of people here that failed that young girl. And the reason she's dead today is one person killed her, but a lot of people put her in that position. A lot of people put her in the position to be killed, if that makes sense. Let me see if I can find. I want to see if anyone is reporting on this grand jury. I see one thing here. Only one thing is covering it. Only one people. KTLA 5 News. Oh damn! I can't even play it for you. Let's see if we can go here. Okay, KTLA. Let me see if they have it on their YouTube or not. It's on their Instagram, but it's not on their other page. Okay, the video is not. They're not playing it on that one either. Interesting. I would have thought this would be a big video for their YouTube channel. All right. Wait. Put a hold. No, that's put a hold on it. Okay, they haven't uploaded it yet, but they do have a video talking about. They do have a quick video talking about the hold being put on the record here.
Grisly new details in the death of a teenage girl whose body was found inside singer David's Tesla. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at Noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Today, we are learning the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been partially frozen when it was found.
That made it difficult for medical examiners to determine the cause of death. KTLA 5 Samantha Cortese live now in the newsroom with the latest on this developing story. Samantha?
Hi, Lou and Glenn. We also have some breaking news. The Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office says it will not be releasing records or details associated with this case, including a cause of death and manner of death, and the medical examiner report until further notice. That's due to a court order requested by the LAPD to place a security hold on this case. And this is just the latest of many major developments in the case.
This video was posted less than a day ago. How is it that they are now reporting something that we've been told is false by the LAPD? So LAPD's told us that she was never frozen and was not found partially defrosted or whatever. That's interesting. Apparently, news does not travel fast in LA. Apparently, in LA, it's quite slow. That's weird. I don't know why they did that. So that's what I wanted to bring you, at least from the LA Times. They seem to be doing a decent job at keeping up with it. But yeah, very interesting update. The fact that they're using an investigative grand jury. I can't say I've ever covered a case where they've used one of those. So an investigative grand jury is a panel of citizens that determines if there is enough probable cause. No, that's a normal grand jury. What is a... I'm trying to find, like, what would they use it for? They say here, the discussion of investigative grand juries covers its nature and function, the scope of the prosecutor's role, grand jury secrecy, evidentiary considerations and immunity, and the compelling of testimony. And they're saying that the grand jury is an inquisitorial arm of the court whose function is investigative and not not for prosecution. It is charged with conducting its own investigation into crimes within its jurisdiction and is concerned with determining whether or not a crime has been committed, and if so, who committed it. So that is sort of what they're looking at. It's finding the evidence to back up if a crime has taken place. Texas says, what a day to release this part of the story. Yeah, it almost seems like a information dump right before Thanksgiving, so people won't see it. This came out very late today, almost like someone hit the send button on their story right before they went out the door to go to Thanksgiving. They're like, all right, I'll see you on Monday, everyone. Hit the button to send the article. That's almost what it seems like. Let's see. Yeah, definitely starting with her family. I agree. Hey, Jay, what's up? Jay said, sounds like the authorities didn't take her missing status seriously either. They did not. You already broke a pumpkin? Okay. An easy, no-fail recipe is on the Libby's pumpkin pie mix can. I don't know what that is. SPR said, so frustrating. Hey, my friend, how are you? It could be misdirection, maybe. By the way, we have a pumpkin pie. We are defrosting it right now for tomorrow night's show. So tomorrow night, we're going to try a pumpkin pie on the air in Australia in celebration for your Thanksgiving in America. Ping's going to try it. I don't know if it's going to be... I don't know if I'm going to like it. We'll see. I like pumpkin. I don't know if I like a pie made out of pumpkin though. We'll have to see. But we'll be doing that tomorrow night. All right. So yeah, very interesting. Just a little update for the David investigation saying, hey, there might be a grand jury being taken maybe right now, maybe it's finished. We're not quite sure, but they're saying that there is definitely one that has either happened or is continuing. They're not sure. So we'll find out. Very interesting. I think we're getting closer and closer, very slowly, but we are getting a little bit closer every day to hopefully charges. All right. I want to see if I can get to a New York thing, but I just want to make sure I can get to it for you. All right. All right. I want to take you to a story out of New York, Cairo, New York, where three people face charges after the remains of their family member where he was reported last week, but his body, a 69-year-old man called Roger Pitt, he was found on their property after they ended up reporting him missing. And they said he left the property and sort of ran away. Well, they ended up finding his body on their property, and now they're all three of them have been charged with conspiracy. So let's play the video for you.
Good afternoon. I'm Laura Jemet, and thank you for joining us. We first start off with breaking news. A missing persons case in Greene County turned into 3 suspects arrested on multiple charges, including murder. 69-year-old Roger Pitt's family reported him missing. He was later found dead on his property in Cairo. CBS 6's Emma Quinn joins us live from outside the Greene County Sheriff's Office with more. Emma, what can you tell us?
Well, Laura, the Cairo Police Department started an investigation on November 18th after Pitts' family said he took his belongings, got in his 1987 Mercedes-Benz, and drove off. Police say their stories, however, didn't add up. Now, we did find tax records of a home on Route 145 here in Cairo that belonged to Roger Pitt. Police executed multiple search warrants and, like you said, later found his body on the property. 3 people have been arrested: 46-year-old Rodney Pitt, 23-year-old Drew White, and 43-year-old Tanya Pitt, all from Cairo. Police wouldn't tell us if or how the suspects and the victim are related. Both men are being charged with multiple charges, including second-degree murder, tampering with physical evidence, and concealment of a human corpse. Tanya is also facing multiple charges, including tampering with physical evidence. All 3 were arraigned in Coxsackie Town Court. Both men remain behind bars here at the Greene County Correctional Facility, and Tanya was released and expected to appear in court at a later date.
So here's the man's photo right here, the guy that they Roger Pitt. And they said that he packed his belongings in his car and just drove away. The initial reports made by family members were not consistent with the findings of investigators, and that resulted in the execution of several search warrants, which the remains of Roger Pitt were ended up being found on the property. And they're saying that they have been arrested and charged with murder, conspiracy, tampering with evidence, and concealment of a human corpse. Tanya was charged with tampering with physical evidence and conspiracy, but no murder charge. It's only Rodney Pitt and Drew White that have been charged with the murder charges. So why they did it, why they felt the need to kill Santa. They killed Santa. The children will be very sad. The children will be very sad. So they killed Santa at Christmas time. How sad for Mr. Pitt. But they're saying here that Rodney and Mr. White were both jailed with no bail. Tanya Pitt was released with an order to appear at a later time. Rodney Pitt is the son of the murdered man, and it's not clear how the other 2 people are connected, other than Tanya Pitt having the same last name as Rodney. So I'll bring you more on that when I know more. But I thought for our friends in New York, we don't do many cases out of New York, that this one might be a good one to keep you up to date on. New York, my friend, New York City. So actually, I think it's New York State, not New York City. So New York in the state. So it's Cairo or Cairo. And yeah. Kim says he really looks like Santa. He looks like somebody abducted Santa and is holding a gun to his head, saying that he has to hand over all the Christmas presents and the reindeer. It looks like that type of photo. Poor guy. Why he had to be killed, I don't know. But I thought I'd bring it to you for our friends in New York so you guys can keep up to date what is happening in your state in America. He does have rosy cheeks, yeah. All right, I want to show you something. This is not crime related, but this has been going on over the last 24 hours and it's made the news down here. I don't know if it made the news in America, but after the Grenfell Tower in the UK happened a few years ago, if you guys don't know what that is, it was this apartment block in the UK that had cladding on the outside that was not fire. It could be flammable. It wasn't fire resistant. It went up in flames and killed a bunch of people in this giant housing commission apartment block. There's been one in Hong Kong and it was massive. You think that Grenfell Tower was big? This was even bigger. And I'm going to bring you some of it here. I feel like we should talk about it, being that it's such a national story at the moment, and it's been going on down here. I've been watching the live stream out of Hong Kong throughout the day, and I just want to show you what's been happening over there. They think there could be like up to 100 people who died in the fire. There's so many people who are missing. Local residents have actually started a Google spreadsheet to try and find out who's missing, who are they looking for, who was found safe, and they've got levels in the building and then rooms or like apartment numbers. And they've got like a green tick saying this person has been found. There's a red X if this person is missing. They have descriptions of people. Like they are really trying to help and try and find out where these people are. So we'll talk more about it. Let's watch the video.
Firefighters are battling a massive fire in Hong Kong that tore through several high-rise apartment towers. At least 13 people are dead, 15 more injured. This is the scene where police received multiple calls of people trapped inside. The buildings have been undergoing renovation with bamboo scaffolding built outside some of those buildings. That is a material traditionally used instead of metal. Video shows the fire quickly spreading through the bamboo there. The complex houses 8 total buildings with nearly 2,000 units. NBC News correspondent Danielle Hamamjian joins me now. So Danielle, this fire has now been upgraded to a 5-alarm fire. That's the highest level in Hong Kong. Do investigators know yet how or where it started?
Hey, Vicky, no official cause yet. And as we speak, that fire is still raging. One resident reported hearing a loud noise at 2:45 local time, 2:45 p.m. Within 10 minutes, the fire trucks were on the scene. And by 6:30 p.m. or so, as you say, it was elevated and categorized as a 5-alarm fire. It wasn't just spreading inside. It was also spreading from building to building, and making things worse here were strong winds fanning the flames in all 7 towers. I mean, imagine, just look at these pictures if you're a resident, how overwhelming and dramatic it is to see apartment by apartment, building by building engulfed in fire. These are 31, 32-story buildings, 2,000 units, as you mentioned, more than 4,500 residents. Fire officials say that it was hard to conduct, and it is still hard to conduct search operations because the temperature in those burning buildings is simply so high. These buildings have been around for about 40 years. And as you mentioned, they've been under renovations for about a year now.
And a lot of folks living there. What do we know about the victims here, Danielle?
Yeah, one of the victims we know so far was a 37-year-old firefighter. He was found collapsed at the scene, according to government officials. He'd been on the job for 9 years. The government paid tribute to him, called him dedicated. But of the 9 out of the 13 people who were killed today, 9 of them were found at the scene, Vicky.
Yeah, that firefighter, they actually found him just collapsed on the floor, not far from the apartment. Just found him on the floor, and unfortunately, they think he died from smoke inhalation trying to save people in the tower. He is a hero and deserves to be remembered for what his sacrifice was. Jay, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. It's nice that Jay is one of the people who always remembers to help the channel. If you're thankful this Thanksgiving for this channel and the information it provides, you can also do it with the links in the chat. I would appreciate it. Coming on this late, I think people forget to help out the channel from time to time. Rachel said, "That's so sad. The bamboo scaffolding would burn quickly." So since earlier this year, they have been phasing out bamboo scaffolding in Hong Kong. They are supposed to be phasing it out by next year. So this was supposed to be one of the last big constructions that actually has bamboo on it. And unfortunately, this happened. It is brutal. I'm going to take you over to Reuters for a second. Reuters had a view of what it looks like right now. I'll take you very quickly, and then I'll have to get out of it. But this is a live shot, or was live only moments ago, in Hong Kong, and this is what it looks like. They still have firefighters dousing it with the water cannons here, and you can see the aftermath of it. Yeah, sorry, I have to get out of it, but there you go. That was a bit of a view of what it looks like today. Texas said, "Who owns the land the building built on, the government or private owners?" I don't know. I'm guessing that it's privately owned. I'll have to double check. There is 279 people missing as of right now. 44 have been confirmed to be dead, and still almost 300 people they haven't been able to locate. They are considered not accounted for at this time. So I'm trying to find. They're still looking into how it started, and they don't know why as of yet. But they're saying that the bamboo scaffolding fanned the fire and made the fire a lot worse and allowed it to spread. Yeah, it's crazy. More than a third of residents. Yeah, so nearly 40% of the residents in those housing complexes were elderly people, according to information coming out. And apparently, it is the most deadly fire in Hong Kong in almost 6 decades. So very long time since they had anything like that. And they're saying that Hong Kong smells like smoke today, and the sort of smoke and ash is all over the surrounding area. They apparently people are still getting it in their homes through air conditioning and things like that. Let's see. Yeah, you can see how many firefighters and how tall they had to get. I'll show you. Here's a photo with 4 different, like, really tall firefighting. I don't know what they call those things, but a bucket and the arm. Look how tall and up the building they had to try and get to try and douse some of the flames and fire, and they just pouring water on it. So this might be end up being one of the worst fires that, Grenfell was bad, but this might be worse. 270 people. Luckily, over 3,000 people were evacuated and survived. And that is a miracle on its own. Really, 3,000 people. Can you imagine that? Like, trying to evacuate 3,000 people out of apartments? That would be a nightmare of a job to try and do. I don't even know how you do that. I don't get it. It would be it's above my pay grade. I don't know how. You would just run maybe. So yeah, it's crazy. I'll show you a few more if I can find them. Here's another one. And you can see them trying to douse water up onto the charred remains. And what is even more sad, people died, maybe up to 300 people, but it's the loss of housing for people too. Where are you going to put all these people? 3,000 people now have to find new homes. 3,000 people have to find new places to live in a place that is very small, doesn't have a lot of housing, and these type of developments are supposed to provide housing for people. And now you're going to remove 3,000 apartments for people. Now you're going to have to try and rehome all of these people. So there is going to be a secondary crisis to it after. So very, very sad. Sean said, I only went there for a day and it was full of smog. Japan is crowded. Japan is crowded. Hey, Blaze, what are you up to, my friend? Blaze said, I would have thought buildings over 4 stories would be made of cement. These are made of cement, from what I know. It is a cement building, but it is the outside bamboo that was the thing that made it worse. And apparently, concrete can only take so much fire before it starts to crumble because you take all the moisture out of it and it starts to break down and crumble. So Sean said with their population density too. Right. So you got to now try find homes for all these people. I think they got a secondary humanitarian crisis on their hands. I think it's going to be worse than what people think. Here, there's a little video on the BBC. I'll show it to you if we can. There's a drone video and you can see sort of them fighting the fires and the view around it, and it just burning all these apartments. It's very, very sad. It looks like that development was made so people could have somewhere to live. You can see, there you go. You can see the surrounding area. So it's been crazy. I've been watching it all night. I was watching it when the fire was still going. It was still bright red and yellow, and there was flames everywhere. So it now looks like this. They'll probably build new ones in a few weeks, maybe. MF Sleepy said, I was watching the Reuters stream on and off today. I was hoping the buildings were empty, but was scared to look up more information. They have been evacuated, but there are people they think maybe still inside that have died, unfortunately. So, really, really crazy story. I definitely wanted to bring this to you today because even though we do true crime, sometimes we do big events from around the world, and this one was pretty big. So, all right, I want to see if we can get you one other update. There was supposed to be a press conference in Hong Kong sometime today, but I'm not sure if it ended up happening or not. It is. Just let me have a look. Chief Executive John Lee. Dozens killed. Unfortunately, I cannot find the press conference for us to watch. Unfortunately, they're only on Reuters and AP. They're the only two that have it in a Western news channel. No one else seems to have it, unfortunately. Let me see. I'll check one other place. All right. I'm going to take you to the ABC in Australia.
What's around you right now? This entire road behind me is full of dozens and dozens of fire trucks. And the moment I got here, the first thing I noticed is the smell. The smoke is just extremely putrid. And when the wind blows, I can feel the sting in my eye. And you can see behind me that the building is still billowing with smoke. We're about 16 over hours now from the start of the fire. Yesterday, 3 p.m., it broke out. It was a level 3 fire at the time. And within hours, by 6:30 p.m., it became a level 5 fire. That is the highest severity in Hong Kong. And this is essentially the worst fire that Hong Kong has experienced since 1996. The death toll now standing at 44, hundreds more missing. The authorities said that 72 more people are missing, and the previous number was 270. So a total of about 300 over people.
When you see that footage there, so I'll go back to it. This bit here, it almost looks like a blast furnace. You see those flames and they're pumping up and they look like they're almost feeding themselves, and you get that sort of upward trajectory and motion from the fire. I can't imagine how hot it got inside the building. When you surround a building like this with fire, what do you think happens to the people on the inside? It becomes like an oven. So you're basically roasting people on the inside. So even if there's no fire on the inside of the building, people most likely will still die because the heat is so strong. It's almost like being set on fire, but without the actual fire. They're going to die from the heat, and that would have been an awful way for a lot of those people to go. Almost 300 people unaccounted for. Jay said they say the fire was unusual. This may be true crime case arson. It could be an arson investigation. Let me see if that word has popped up yet. Arson. Let me see if I can get any. They're saying that the fire is currently not being treated as arson, but 3 people have been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter related to the use of flammable construction materials, aka the bamboo scaffolding. So those people have been arrested already, apparently. Apparently, a building fire in Gali, called Gali Building Fire in 1996 in Hong Kong, killed 41 people and was the worst building fire in Hong Kong during peacetime. This one might be worse. This one may end up being worse than the one that happened in 1996. So, Sean says a shoot of hot air and flames. Yeah, definitely. Gail said they have said, yeah, they said they arrested him for the scaffolding. So, flames all the way up the building. Yeah, you should have seen it yesterday if you didn't see the fire when it was actually at its peak. It was, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. It was intense. Uh, Here, I'll try and find a photo of it when it was really big. Maybe this one. Yeah, there you go. That's what it looked like yesterday. It was just flames and red and things shooting out the top of the building. It looked like a bushfire, but inside multiple apartments. It was, almost indescribable. Yeah, I told you guys why. Because of the scaffolding. They were arrested because they are linked to the bamboo scaffolding. At points, there are a couple places that the flames went blue. If people were using propane or other gas inside, that would feed it. There may have been gas lines, for sure. Carolina said scaffolding built out of bamboo is that normal. In Asian countries, it's been used for, millennia. So, yes. But they're trying to get rid of it. From, I think it's April or May this year, they've been trying to phase it out to use steel like you see in other countries like Australia, the USA, England. So they've been trying to get rid of the bamboo because it is flammable. Sean says, was that a shopping center in 1996? No, it was an apartment complex. It was not a shopping center. It was an apartment like this one. So, yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let me see if I got one more story for you guys. I might have one more. Maybe I've got one more. Maybe in Pennsylvania. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, not that one. Actually, there wasn't. Since we're doing this type of story, hold on. You guys might want to hear about this. I know we often talk about, you know, in the summer in Australia, but there was a shark attack in New South Wales today. A woman was mauled by a shark, and her partner tried to save her, and then the shark attacked him. She ended up dying and was found dead on the sands of the beach. He survived and was airlifted to hospital where he's in a critical condition.
Woman has been killed in a shark attack on the New South Wales mid-north coast. Emergency services were called to a beach at Crowdy Bay at around 6:30 a.m. local time after reports 2 people had been bitten by a shark. Witnesses helped the pair before paramedics arrived, but the woman died at the scene. The man sustained serious injuries and has been flown to John Hunter Hospital in Newcastle in a critical condition. Both victims are believed to be aged in their 20s. The beach has been closed and police will liaise with experts from the Department of Primary Industries to determine the species of the shark.
Yeah, so that broke this morning about the shark attack. Really, really awful. These people were apparently tourists from overseas, and they had been staying at a place nearby, decided to go for a morning swim, and the shark attacked the girl first, and then when the guy tried to help her, ended up attacking him. So we don't know what type of shark yet, but we know it was some
I'm
sort
really
of
sorry. Can we stop?
some sort of big ass shark. They're saying authorities have praised the action of bystanders who saved a man's life in a shark attack that killed a woman on New South Wales mid-north coast. A woman died and a man was seriously injured after being mauled by a shark during a swim at Crowdy Bay at 6:30 a.m. on Thursday. Witnesses tried to save the pair while waiting for paramedics to arrive, but the woman died at the scene. They are understood to be tourists from Switzerland. The woman, believed to be aged in her 20s, is yet to be formally identified. And the man is in hospital trying to survive his injuries. Apparently, he has really serious injuries to his legs. He is very very, very injured. So I don't know what type of shark it might have been, but you're always told in Australia, don't go swimming in the morning that early, and don't go swimming at night, like when the sun goes down, because those 2 times are like peak shark times. Like that is when the sharks are out and they're hunting, and they're using their ambush type predator skills to try and get food or attack things. And they say that you should never ever swim during that time. So really sad. 36 degrees in Brisbane. I heard you guys had the most insane thunderstorm the other day. I heard there was a lot of hail in Brisbane. Huge hail, like baseball size hail in Brisbane the other day. Apparently, it caused millions of dollars of insurance claims in Brisbane. So Queensland's been smacked by severe thunderstorms for weeks and weeks and weeks, apparently. So they're having a bad run of severe weather. Yeah, so if you're in Brisbane, I hope that the storms calm down. Jay says, "What type of shark? A hungry one." Well, this particular beach did not have any lifeguards. It is a unpatrolled beach, and it doesn't have any netting either. It was a completely open, remote type of beach. It had no life saving, nothing. It was just open ocean. So if you swam there, eh, you are taking a pretty big risk of having some sort of an encounter with a shark. So because that tends to happen when you don't no one to help you. They were very lucky that there were bystanders who rushed to their aid and were able to save the guy's life, but the female, the one who was attacked originally, she did not survive. So I don't know what'll happen with this. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, unfortunately, it happens. Australia is an island, and we live in the Pacific and the Indian Oceans, and there is sharks everywhere around here, just everywhere. So yeah, very sad update, but not much you can do. Not much you can do. Let me see. All you can do is obey the things that we've been told. Don't swim early morning. Don't swim near sunset, and don't swim on unpatrolled beaches. And unfortunately, this person ignored all of those things and was killed by the shark. So that's what happens when you don't listen to the things we're supposed to do. Jay said, "Yeah, lost power for hours. More are coming apparently, keeping the humidity high. Hate humidity. It's very humid in Melbourne today too." Sean says, "Port Macquarie to Sydney, there are loads of sharks near those beaches. And that is because there is a great white nursery that is in that area. There is a great video. I'll show it. Hold on. Oh, great. I'll see if I can find it. It might be this one. It is. Watch, is it this one?
Our knowledge of white sharks has changed dramatically over the last 20, 25 years. The thing that I find most impressive is common for us to see is so one of the things around these offshore
I think it is this guy, but he did one. This is the American one, I think. Yeah, this is the one in America. He did one in Australia too. And if I can ever find the Australian one, I will bring it to you. No, I can't play it. I'll give you the link though. So it's this one. If you're an American, watch this guy. His name is Chris Lau, and he talks about the nurseries of great white sharks. There was one, I really wish I could find the Aussie one, because he talks about the highway between New South Wales and Victoria and where they come from. It's really interesting to know, like, why they go certain places and where they come from. Let me see. Um, I can't find it, but it was a great documentary about it, about how there's different nurseries for great white sharks down the south coast of New South Wales and then around to Victoria. And apparently the baby sharks start off just south of Sydney. They sort of grow up there, Then when they become like teenagers, they come to Victoria, and on the tip of Victoria, they spend a lot of time down there growing into adult white sharks. And then when they're adults, they roam the coast up and down from New South Wales to Victoria, just backwards and forwards for the rest of their life. And it was very, very interesting to hear about. If I ever find the documentary, I'll post it on my channel. But it is well worth watching. Watch the one that I posted about. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy, Chris Lau, and he did. I didn't know he did the American one, but he did one in Australia too. It was really good. So, um, Kim says, "Did you watch Shark Week?" No, I don't watch Shark Week. I find it a bit repetitive and boring. Lindy said, "I think they're beautiful creatures." Well, you take one home then. You have one in your pool. So you're going to build a giant pool and you're going to put the great white shark, and then you have to swim with it every day. And you have to feed it and you have to pat it. Like you have to pat it like it's a cat. All right. If you love them that much and you think they're beautiful, you're going to have to adopt one in your home. Kim says, "I love looking at them at the aquarium." Lindy says, "Nope. Are you sure? I thought you said they're beautiful. You don't want one as a pet? A pet, a pet, a pet that'll take off your arm?" Yeah. All right. Let's wind up for the night. Let's wind up. Let me get rid of all this stuff. We've got far too many links open. 50 links or more. All right. No more baby shark for you guys. Can feed it PDF files? We could do that. We could do that. All right. Hey, you guys are all got to get some sleep. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving out there. I'll be on here. I'll be on here tomorrow. We're gonna do some fun Thanksgiving type of things. I'm gonna have some pumpkin pie. You guys are gonna come in after you've had your family meetings and lunches and dinners, and we're all gonna hang out in the evening for Thanksgiving. Talk some true crime, have some fun, and I'll bring you some updates from around the world. So, hey, I love you all. Have a great night out there. Get some rest, and I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow, everyone. See you tomorrow. Good night. Bye.